High gas prices, high food prices, high house prices.
We've been seeing inflation running at the highest in 40 years.
Housing prices have been exponentially high from coast to coast, with double-digit price increases since the start of the pandemic.
The Governing Council of the Bank of Canada still judges that the policy interest rate will need to rise further. We've seen 5 interest rate hikes now this year, already having a dampening effect on the housing market. Perhaps we are, though, getting closer to the end of this interest rate tightening cycle as we get closer to the end of the year.
Good morning. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Ça va bien? It's as much as it goes. Je ne sais pas parler français. Parlez-vous anglais? And that's where we go. Okay. Welcome. I wanted to start off a little bit of video just to show everybody just exactly what our clients are watching every single day, and as well to what you're actually been exposed to. Before I begin, though, I want to say Happy Rosh Hashanah to our agents and family members who are part of the Jewish faith. Obviously, I should know better, but what happened was, I believe it was Sunday and Monday, but it's Sunday to Tuesday. So point taken for the future, but a very happy new year. And I'm hoping that you can watch this at a later time and enjoy it. And if you have any questions, obviously, get right back to us. We have a very, very busy morning, and to make sure that you stay for the entire event, we're not serving you breakfast. We are serving you lunch. So if you want a free lunch, you have to stay to the end. Anyways, we have a lot to cover. We have some real special guests here today. We have with us Christopher Alexander, the president of RE/MAX, and he will be covering a lot of the future vision and mission of our mothership, which is really, really exciting. And then after that, we have Chris Ng, who will be talking about some of the technology opportunities that are happening and some of the tools that you can use to really set yourself apart. As we know, RE/MAX is the #1 brand, the gold standard, and what they're going to share with you today is definitely going to make you feel very, very proud to be associated with this brand. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Christopher Alexander. He is the president of RE/MAX Canada. Christopher oversees operations for the company-owned RE/MAX Canada region, which includes Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, and Saskatchewan. Additionally, he works closely with leaders of the independent RE/MAX Quebec region to build a cohesive brand strategy across the country. Christopher began his career as a RE/MAX sales associate at an independently owned and operated brokerage in 2010 before joining Submaster franchise RE/MAX Integra as a franchise sales consultant in 2014. He then served as Chief Strategy Officer and Executive Vice President of RE/MAX Integra, and was responsible for the day-to-day operations as well as developing and overseeing business strategies. So he's a third-generation RE/MAX leader. He maintains a deep knowledge of real estate markets and industry trends and connects with the RE/MAX network all around the world. Please welcome Christopher Alexander.
Thank you, Tim. I got to find a way to shorten that. But I appreciate it. How is everybody this morning? Good? You guys fired up about the fall? That's right. I'm going to give you lots of reasons why you should be. But before I get into that, I just want to say a big thank you to Tim and the whole RE/MAX Ultimate crew for having me here this morning. Not only is RE/MAX Ultimate one of the best companies in our system, but it's probably one of the best companies in the industry, period. You've got, yep, well, wrap it up. No, I mean that, Tim. I mean, you are super involved, not just with our brand and organization, but in the industry. You're a proven leader, somebody that's so well respected, and you got a really great broker owner here. So hope you appreciate him, as we certainly do at the brand. So really, I just want to share a couple of ideas with you over the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. I want to talk about the brand and how we finished in 2021 and how that's carrying over into this year. I want to explain the direction of the brand overall, and then I want to ask you guys a question. Sound good? Awesome. So last year, craziest year in history, was also our craziest year in every dynamic or in every metric. And there's why I'm bringing this up in September of 2022 is important, and I'll tell you why. So typically in a very, very strong market, average commissions go up, transactions per agent go down, but not in our network. We actually saw an increase of over 25% year over year in transactions. So the average RE/MAX agent in Canada does 20.5 transactions each on average. Industry average is still below 4. Year after year, it's below 4. And that's significant. I mean, especially when you consider the average RE/MAX agent in Canada earns about $194,000 in GCI, which is a 29% increase from 2020. And it's significant because, as I mentioned, typically speaking, when the market's strong and prices go up, you're making more per deal, and it's really easy to justify taking your foot off the gas. But we didn't. We really led the charge, and we outperformed. Nationally, prices went up about 25%. Our GCI per agent went up just shy of 30. So we were outperforming the market then. And obviously, what I'm most proud of is RE/MAX agents in Canada raised just over $5.4 million for children's hospitals in 2021, which is another record. And so we're generous and helping change people's lives. So I'm bringing this up now in September because you guys are the gold standard, as Tim mentioned. There is no other network of agents that are as dedicated to this profession as a RE/MAX agent. There's no other brand that is as dedicated to breeding top performers as RE/MAX. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. It's really, really incredible to see a collection of people that are like-minded. They have the same goals. They are invested not only in their clients and their experience, but their business, and invested in this business as a business. I think I said that 3 times in a row. But really, I mean, how many agents do you guys work with where you're putting the deal together for them? Like, how often does that happen, where you're helping walk people through what a transaction's like? It's frustrating, it's annoying, but what I'm getting at is there's really a small percentage of agents that treat this as a profession, and I'm proud to say that we've got most of them. Because it is, I mean, you're handling the biggest transaction that people do in their lifetimes. There's a ton at stake. It's frustrating. It's rewarding. It's tedious. It's all those things racked into one. And you guys really set the bar for how to do it. And so we're incredibly proud of everything that our organization has accomplished. And in an extremely competitive marketplace like the GTA, where new companies are popping up, what feels like every afternoon, there's some new player in town. You guys continue to set the bar. So I'm certainly very proud of you all, and I hope you guys are too. So where are we headed as a brand? Well, there's all kinds of exciting things on the horizon. We had a major technology announcement come out several weeks back. Well, actually, it was in early July, where we decided to partner with a third party. But again, we are doubling down on breeding that top producing agent. That's what we do best. And there was a period of time where we were developing our own proprietary technology solutions. It was a great initiative while we were starting it. You know, we never got to roll it out in Ontario Atlantic, but we did in Western Canada and the United States. And what we found was it required a tremendous amount of resources, personnel, financial and capital to make it a product that was going to be renowned and used. But we also realized another thing, and I'm sure you can all resonate. How often do you tell your customers to use a professional when you need a professional service, right? Like, we're that service that we're constantly talking about, using that professional to handle. And we just figured that, you know what, we're really, really good at developing top agents and marketing. Technology is not necessarily our bag. So why don't we go out and partner with the best of breed technology solution in the market? And that's KB Core. And Chris Ning is here. He's going to he heads up our training department in Canada, and he's going to dive into some of the features of that product. But really, the main purpose of it or of doing that deal and setting it up that way is we really want to focus on what we're best at. Again, it's developing top agents, do big time marketing initiatives, and then let third parties that are best in class handle the technology solutions that is really what they're best at. And it's technology changes at such a rapid pace, and it was difficult for us to keep up when we were running our core business of real estate. So I'm super excited. I mean, Inside Real Estate, many of our brokerages in Canada have partnered with them already, and now you'll have an all-encompassing technology platform that comes with a CRM, an agent office and team website. It's all included. And it's really a one-stop shop for everything you're going to need from a technology standpoint, that'll plug in nicely with all the other features that RE/MAX Ultimate has, because I know you got a lot of them, Tim. But again, it's really just about focusing on what we're best at. And I encourage all of you to do the same in your businesses. Like, there's different calibers different categories of agents. Some are really good at prospecting, like hardcore door knocking or cold calling. Some are really good at online leads. Most are really great at generating referrals and building and working their database. But I encourage all of you, like whatever it is you're really good at, focus on it. Focus on it, double down on it. I mean, there's been so much talk about disruption and different models upending all different kinds of industries, not just real estate. And anybody read the Harvard Business Review? Anybody? Sometimes, okay. They put out a study earlier this year on disruption, and they looked at the S&P 500 and how many companies over the last 25 years were not on the S&P. Well, so I don't know if you're familiar with what the S&P is, but if you're not, it's basically the top 500 companies listed on the stock exchange. And so they looked at those 500 companies over the last 25 years and how many of them were there before those 25 years, how many were new, and how many only existed in the last 8-9 years, which is when this big disruption topic started to emerge. And what they found was very, very interesting. Over 80% of the companies on the S&P in the last 25 years were established before that. Another 12%, 12.5% were not on the S&P, but they were in business before that. So they've been in business for more than 25 years, but they didn't make it to the Fortune 500 until the last 25 years. And there were really only about 6 or 7 new companies that made it on that list. And I'm sure we can all think of who they are: Facebook, Amazon, all the latest and greatest technology platforms. But the point of the article is that people get so caught up, or it's so easy to get caught up in disruption and what the other guys are doing. And through that study, they found that it's very, very rare for a Blockbuster situation to arise, like Netflix unseating Blockbuster. The point was that's the exception. It's very rare that it actually takes place. But what they said was, where companies make mistakes, and where I think this applies to us as an industry, is that they get wrapped up in it. They're constantly like, okay, well, how do I mimic what this is doing? Or what's this shiny new object? And I see this guy over there and he looks like he's got a Lamborghini, so maybe I should buy one too. But doubling down on what you're best at and focusing on what you know that you can be successful in is the strategy that this report recommended. I mean, you can try to copy and mimic, but oftentimes that becomes way too expensive. It distracts you from your core business, and you can end up wasting a lot of time. Some people have success doing it, or you can double down, and that's really the direction that we're taking as an organization. Because, just how many of you have joined RE/MAX out of school? 1, 2, okay. How many of you came from other companies? All right, Tim, you're recruiting. I like it. And how many of you, your business has gone up since you've come to this organization? That's right. It happens. I mean, if you're new, I hope that you've sold because guaranteed your business has gone up. No, but really, I mean, like this organization is so much about success and production. It's really, really difficult to come inside our organization and not achieve new levels of success. I mean, the old saying is you join our brand and typically you earn about 30% more than you did when you were at your last company. And there's a reason for that. I mean, a lot of the stuff I just mentioned, but just being in the productive environment with other professionals that have a similar mindset works wonders. I mean, I can't tell you how many franchises we've sold to people or conversions that we've done, and they're just like, wow, like this brand has this aura about it, this feeling of like success, and it just levels you up. And it's kind of difficult to put an exact finger on it, but it's really just the caliber of people that are in our organization. And I mean, you think about like brands in general. You know, how many of you, what's the first company you think about when you need like a household item? Call it out. Procter & Gamble. What about where you need to purchase it? Like, what's the first site you go to? Son, thank you. What about when you want a fast meal, some fast food? What's the first thing you think of? Uber Eats? No, the actual, that's a good example though. Pardon? Okay. Who's got kids? That's right. There it is. Okay. For the kids, so they want something quick. They need to be quiet in the car. It's McDonald's for us at least. But so what I'm getting at here is that brands are really powerful, and a brand that is trusted with consumers just makes your life so much easier. And we did win Canada's most trusted real estate brand. You know, it's a deep honor and a testament to the work that you guys do every single day. I mean, you get results, you get the job done, you provide that incredible experience that consumers expect. I mean, we live in this Amazon world of instant gratification, and you know, you can run out of toilet paper at 8 a.m. and by noon you've got a fresh parcels waiting on your doorstep. That has so changed the psyche of the average consumer. I mean, the expectations people have for service have, you know, gone through the roof. And yeah, this instant gratification world. So for us to win that most trusted brand and continue to be the most productive agents in the business is incredible. I mean, you consider that most agents, 60 to 70% of agents today got in the business after 2010. And so what's the market been doing since 2010? You know, now things are a little bit softer. I still think it's actually really good. Just not comparing it to last year, but you know, there's so many people that haven't experienced even putting conditions in offers or does anybody remember what those are? Like, but think about it. Like, there's this breed of realtor that has never sold in an average days on market. I mean, if you're in Toronto, like more than 25 days. So this is a huge, huge opportunity for us to demonstrate our value and our worth that we haven't had in a long time. Because let's face it, you know, most of the last decade, you know, a lot of people could justify using their cousin that sold, you know, a house once in a while because they were going to, you know, save a commission, or it was going to sell in an afternoon because that's all that was in the headlines in the press. Now they need a professional in a big way. And that's what we're reminding consumers, that we are the company to use when times are challenging. And, you know, we proved that in COVID. I mean, our growth numbers as a brand through that transitionary period from early 2020 and even now today, I mean, it was astounding. our net gain as an organization in Canada is up over 10%. Last year, this year, we're a little bit down, but we're still, we're up 725 agents. So we're growing as a company, and people want to work with trusted brands in challenging times. And I hate saying the word challenging times because, again, I don't think it's really that bad out there. I mean, we just released a report, our national inventory report. Did anybody see that one? It's on blog.remax.ca, but there's some really great statistics in there. But nationally speaking, 7 out of 10 major markets in Canada, including Toronto, were down. We had less inventory over the last 10 years than we did the decade prior. So from 2012 to 2022, there was less homes for sale than there was from 2002 to 2012. I mean, in July, there were 15,000 listings in a city of 6 million people. In Halifax, there were 1,100 listings, and they've got 475,000 is their population. So, yes, interest rates are rising; they're still really low, but you tell me where's prices going to go when you've got a huge influx of people that need to buy, and there's just not enough product. So that's why I'm confident that things aren't so tough as the media is making it out to be. So anyway, look, I think this is probably the most exciting time to be with our brand in many, many years. I mean, we are a national organization now. We used to be privately owned, and last year we did sell to Remax Holdings, and we've united with Western Canada, and we do a lot of work with Quebec. Is anybody going to activate in a couple of weeks in Quebec City? Everybody? Yes. But we have this huge juggernaut of a marketing fund now. Are you guys seeing our advertising? Yes, in a bigger way than you have in the past? Excellent. I mean, we are, constantly fine-tuning. I've just seen some concepts for next year. It's a bit of a different direction than what we had in 2022, but you're seeing us everywhere, everywhere, and that's resonating with consumers in a big way. I mean, we interact with the public in a big way. We've been publishing a lot of stories in Google. We're the only real estate brand that is an official Google News provider. And that's resonating. Consumers are seeing it. Our messaging is very consistent. You need to work with a professional. And we're really hopeful that that's going to continue to drive more and more business to you guys. And really, we're just getting started. So I'm excited, and I hope you guys are all too. So thank you.
Chris, really appreciate you being here and just putting a face to the name. I know you probably see him on TV and in interviews and everything else, but it's been quite a while since we've been able to be together. And at least you're actually here, and I want to thank you for making the trip to make it here today. So now I want to introduce Chris. Chris, I don't have a bio for you, so I'll keep it simple. No, actually, he's the Remax University instructor. He was gracious enough to come here today to share all the tools and a lot of the special things that Remax is doing from an internet/technology perspective. Obviously, the big announcement that Christopher mentioned that you've been seeing in the emails. And Chris, welcome to Remax Ultimate.
All right. So just a little bit about myself. I've been with the Remax brand for 7 years. I actually worked with another brokerage in Toronto, another summit brokerage with 800 agents. I was their trainer as well with agent onboarding, training the different technologies that they have, and also doing some, sorry, 1 second. And doing some quality control with their administrative processes as well. And then I was joining Remax Holdings just in March, so relatively new to the role, but definitely excited to be here and show you all the stuff that we have. was. It's not on the screen down here. All right. Well, anyways, so this is my email address. If you do need to reach out to me for any reason, just don't confuse me with Chris Alexander. So no, none of those big questions there. So just to start off, we're just going to start off really light before we get into the heavy stuff with KV Core and everything. So there is the Remax app, which is absolutely fantastic. You can share it when you personalize it with your clients. You can brand it to yourself. And when you share that link with your clients, it's automatically branded to you. So every time that your client looks at it or looks at any properties with the app, it's going to be branded to you. So you're always top of mind with them. There's no worries about memorizing or using your phones right now to scan everything for every slide that we have. I do have a lot of QR codes. I will be sharing the PDFs with you, and so you can have those at any time. Right. There's also the Approved Supplier Program, which is great. We have a lot of Canadian-specific suppliers as well, whether you need any business needs, signposts, everything. We have a lot of great deals with them. And there's actually a couple of new ones which are great, such as Express Docs and Teradel. So has anyone here used Canada Post to do ad mail or anything like that? It takes forever. You have to go in, you have to look up your sites, you have to look up your postal routes, you have to choose houses and everything like that. Teradel and Express Docs have actually simplified the process. So it takes only about 10 minutes. All you have to do is look at a map. You can actually use a framing program to frame the area that you want, select it, upload your file, and they do everything else for you. They do the printing, they do the mail preparation, they send it to Canada Post, they do all of that. So instead of taking 15 to 30 minutes to do it using Canada Post, use Teradel, it only takes you about 10 minutes. And they're one of our newer suppliers.
Can I just ask, is anybody using this yet? Not yet? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great. Give it a try next time you want to do ad mail. It's a great process. And they do give you the Canada Post discount too. So they're not upcharging a lot too much. All right, another great one, Remax Hustle. So Remax Hustle gets you video advertisements. It's on your phone. It's really quick. Everything is preloaded and also Remax branded. There's also, as you can see in the lower right corner, there's also a Canadian content. So everything you're seeing on TV, everything you're seeing in the posted billboard ads, so all of the Unfair Advantage with the octopus and the Pegasus, those videos are all preloaded. And all you have to do, if you want to cut it down to only a couple of seconds or take it as is and then brand it to yourself, it's all built into the program. And then there's also Photify. Photify is another great one, especially if you have clients who are on you all the time about getting stuff posted right away. You always have those ones that want to micromanage what you're posting and how fast you're posting it, how often people see it. So Photify is another great one. What you can do actually is it links to your phone with your camera, and you can actually take a photo right after you sign your clients up for a listing. You can walk outside, take a photo of your house. It's already branded to you. So you have your name, you have your phone number, as you can see in the second photo with the for sale sign. Those are all stickers that are already branded with your name and contact information. Take a photo of their house, and you can post it to any social media outlet right away. And as you see, there's all these Remax stickers and everything. You can tag it, you can make it nice, use different filters. And not only that, but once you take that one single photo, the program itself will adjust the size of the frame for whatever social media program you're going to post it on. And it's all done right within that one program. It's called Photify. Yeah, PHY. So Photify. Sorry, FY, my mistake. Yeah. And so, yeah, this will be a part of the PDF that I will send you. So I'll have the link, especially the link at the bottom with the Remax invite to make sure you get all the branded materials with it. All right, and if you have any problems with any of the programs, so Max Center or any of the other ones, there's product support. Product support, you can call them, you can email them, whatever you need, and they'll get in touch with you and fix that problem with whatever you need. So that's it for the presentation. Not really, but so Max Tech, the biggest one that everyone wants to know about. So like Chris was saying, with Max Tech, we definitely want to make sure that you have the best platforms at your disposal. So with Max Tech, they are the number one platform for real estate agents to use. It has everything built in with CRMs, management for your listings, And this is our promo video.
Agents. At the heart of every successful real estate deal is you. You're the local expert, the master relationship builder. You're the superhero making home happen. But while you're busy working for your clients, who's working for you? You're pulled in a million directions and don't have time to juggle a dozen different tools or be glued to your desktop all day. It's time to take back your life with KV Core, the #1 ranked real estate platform that works for you 24/7. With KV Core, you'll have everything you need to manage and grow your business all in one place. Start your day with a complete view of what to do and who to talk to, right in the palm of your hand. See your hottest opportunities, prospects who saved a home on your website, viewed a market report, or responded to a campaign, so you'll know exactly where to focus your time. You can respond instantly with a built-in dialer, mass texting, and video messaging powered by BombBomb. With KV Core, you'll have a private platform that puts every aspect of your business all in one place. Ready to put your business growth on autopilot? While you're busy taking care of current clients, KV Core is working as your powerhouse virtual assistant, responding to new leads, nurturing your sphere, and generating repeat and referral business. KV Core drives 5 to 10 times more engagement by responding to contacts based on their behavior. Did a prospect start searching again after going dark? They'll get an email from you with similar homes, automatically. Did they save a property as a favorite? They'll get a text from you with more info, automatically. Did a past client just change jobs? They'll be on your mobile dialer app for a phone call today, automatically. The last thing your clients need is another boring drip campaign. KV Core uses AI to deliver relevant content at just the right time. You guessed it, automatically. With KV Core, you'll never be wondering where your next deal is going to come from. You can generate leads for free with 20+ built-in tools like landing pages, squeeze pages, social media marketing, and more. Have more money than time? We'll handle the lead gen for you. The KV Core Marketplace can deliver a steady stream of cost-effective leads to build your pipeline the easy way. And with KV Core, you'll keep those hard-earned prospects searching with you, thanks to a customizable IDX website with a portal-like home search experience. All of this in one system backed by an experienced tech partner to support your success. KV Core makes it possible. Agents, stop juggling logins. Empower your business and streamline your life today with KV Core.
All right. So that's introduction to KV Core. So that's just a couple of the things that we have mentioned. They have the IDX websites that's available at your disposal. It has leads. It can prevent the CRM. It can organize all of your contacts. You have different tools for presentations that can help you put together. It has integration with the back office, and also has, the best part is, a Teams platform. So if you have a team or you're working with a team with administrators, it's all available there for you. So a couple of things I do want to point out. There is a lead engine, so I'll show you a little later, but each of the pages that is posted on MaxTech does have a smart number. And that smart number actually filters in all those prospects through the system. So if you have your contacts in the system under you and they call into that smart number, it would automatically be routed to you. So that's one of the important things about having that CRM. So the smart CRM is there. Also has autopilot with marketing. So like it mentioned, with the drip campaigns, it just kind of sends it automatically for regardless of whether or not clients are interested, as long as they're in the process. But with this autopilot, you can actually set a customizable experience. So whether or not they're looking for something, you can set it so that if they're looking for a certain property, it automatically will update them with similar properties. And then if you haven't spoken to them a while, it will automatically trigger certain flows. Also has the Teams platform, which is great because you manage your own teams at a better pace. So what to expect? Once we do get MaxTech going with your brokerage, there's a couple of different things that you can expect. There's a certain method. There is a step-by-step process that's available on RU platform, and that's the QR code that you can get there. I'll show you a little bit more. But within that, there's going to be 4 basic steps plus the support that you'll be constantly getting. So once you have your invite, once you join, there's going to be an email. So once Tim lets you know that he's going to join the MaxTech and that is coming, you can prepare with this email, make sure that it's not going to your spam, and that will give you the link to welcome you into KV Core. From there, you sign your user agreement, set up your profile. There are different webinars, and there are weekly webinars hosted by ourselves and KV Core Inside Real Estate. We do have a lot of them all set up, and you attend just a webinar just to learn a little more basics into how it works. There is going to be a checklist so that you can guide you through the process to make sure that you are set up properly. And there's always support. So Inside Real Estate itself has 24/7 support, plus the support that you have from the RE/MAX product support team. So I'm breezing through this. There's a lot of text, but you will be getting the PDF so you can take your time reading through all that information because there is a lot. With your contacts to build your CRM, and if you are using Bouge, all of your contacts are automatically imported into the system. With anything else that you have, if you want to import other contacts, manually, I guess it was the wrong word I should not have necessarily used, but you will need to import those separately. Those are not automatically imported for you. With your lead privacy too, a lot of agents don't really want to import leads into a general shared CRM because other people may see their leads. KV Core MaxTech is absolutely fantastic for that because if it's your personal lead, no one else will see that information. It'll be marked as private. They can, if you want the brokerage to send a general newsletter, that can happen, but they will not see who your contact is. And the only admins that can see that are the ones that are either your team administrator leads, or if it's a brokerage referral lead, then the brokerage can see it. But your own personal leads are yours and private. And you can also sync your email, so any incoming information also gets uploaded to KV Core for you. So this is just a general view of what the different privacy levels are. So there are company administrators, office administrators. If you have a team, you can have a team administrator, and then yourself as the agent user. And the most important one is the last one on the right, the lead privacy. So if it's a company admin, it's a company lead, then they can see it, but otherwise it is, as I said, private for you. And this is just an example of what that screen may look like for anyone other than yourself. As you can see, it just says private lead. They will not see any contact information at all, and it will say who that lead belongs to. For the important contacts, like I mentioned, my previous word of manly wasn't so great, but if you do have other contacts, other CRMs that you're using, Inside Real Estate can actually help you upload those en masse. So you don't have to do them one by one yourself. What you can do is there's actually a step-by-step process that I'll show you just how to set it up in Excel, and then they will import all those contacts for you directly into MaxTech on your behalf. A couple of things to note, once you do have KV Core, once you have MaxTech, there are automatic links all over the place for you if you want additional training or if you have any questions about anything. Right on your front page, there's an agent quick start to help guide you through the process when you start going. There's also the support and training tab on the main menu. There's a learning portal. The learning portals are great because they actually have screenshots and videos with step-by-step processes for any kind of questions or troubleshooting that you may have. There's also the little bubble in the lower right corner, the chat box, that is 24/7 live chat help. This, as I mentioned before, a little earlier, was you have the smart number, which is tied to every brokerage. It is a general number for everybody, but it is tied to the CRM that's built in. So as soon as anybody calls that number, which is posted on the KV Core website for the IDX, for the brokerage, it will search through the CRM for the brokerage, and if it's your client, it will direct the call directly to you, and it won't go to anyone else. Now, if there are multiple people who have the same client or they were fishing around, it will go to the one who had the most recent contact with that client. Once you do get started, again, just like all CRMs, all links, make sure you put your MLS number, make sure everything goes to you. It is also connected to MLS, so whatever your client is searching for, you will see what they're looking for, and you can also click it and then get redirected directly to the MLS site. Also has a lead path journey, so as you work with your clients through the process, you can move them on to different stages, and there are also automations that you can have for each stage. You can also tag them, whether they're buyer, seller, renter, vendor, or if you're recruiting other agents for your team, you can mark them as an agent so they don't get put into the other campaigns. Another great feature is hashtags. So with hashtags, you can tag your agent or tag your clients for certain features that they're looking for. You can search for these features. If you want to do a brokerage newsletter or a team newsletter, you can tag them with newsletter so that you can search for them later and then group email everybody. But hashtags are really great, so you can actually find and search for your clients that way as well. So with autopilots, there is a lot of stuff built in to Max Tech that you can use. So they have the concierge, they have the smart campaign, which is the revamp of the drip campaigns where you can actually set up the different automations. You have birthdays, anniversaries that you can work on, the CRM, and CMAs that you can build, and also any additional help that you may need. So with the campaigns, you can set them, and there are a lot built in automatically into the program. You can use them as is, or you can modify them and then use them directly for your own clients and personalize them as well. With that, you can adjust the logic. So when the clients are receiving it, you can time it for certain triggers. So whether or not they're looking for a certain property, if they suddenly came out of hibernation and started looking for properties, you can adjust your campaign logic to trigger your clients at certain different stages of their search. And there's a lot of webinars, like I mentioned, there's a lot of training that's available both from us and from Inside Real Estate. So at RE/MAX University, you can see there's a Max Tech link, and you can use that to be redirected towards the webinars that we are hosting, as well as the ones on the Inside Real Estate website. So when you're in RE/MAX University, there's a lot of different options, different levels, different stages for training that you can use. And within each, you have different kind of webinars, and we even do have breakout sessions. So if you have specific questions that you have for people, we do have training sessions for those as well. And then Inside Real Estate has their own education. As you can see with the calendar, there's a lot that they have throughout the day, throughout the week, and is consistent. Also, they have pre-recorded webinars as well, so you can rewatch any of them if you missed any as well. With their help desk, they do have step-by-step videos and articles to help you guide you through any problems that you may have, or if you're not sure about something, they do have lots of pre-done articles as well. And there's quick core learning. So this is also with Inside Real Estate. When you do start with KV Core, there's a lot of different step-by-step processes to help make sure that you are onboarded correctly and make sure you have everything filled out with your programs, and they would take you through each of those as well. This is just an example of what they have for your learning. All right, so any kind of questions with KV Core? Pardon? Cost is free. So the basic plan with KV Core, everything included with the teams, the platform, that's all included as part of being a RE/MAX agent. Yes. To my knowledge, yes, that is correct. Yeah. Their Teams platform is part of it. I do not know for sure. Okay, there you go. Chris has answered your question for you. Yeah. Not off the top of my head, but I can get an answer to you, and I'll let Tim know, and then he can share that information. Yes. Mm-hmm. So Terradel, to my knowledge, has training sessions. I know some were recorded that were held last month. I'm not sure if they're available on any of the Canadian platforms, but they do have webinars. I'm not sure how often that they host it, but they are available. I can get that information to you, and I'll let Tim know as well, and then he can share that.
Yeah, so essentially, Inside Real Estate team and RE/MAX LLC, there's a robust, like, back-end training platform. So there's webinars, there's incredible support team as well. And then you also have the RE/MAX training squad too that will do it. And Tim's going to memorize everything. So I can actually
let everybody know that I received the email to sign up for this just a couple days ago, but I was really, focused on this meeting that was going on right, planning for it and making sure that it goes off without a hitch and some other events that we're doing. But I am reviewing the contract. It will be signed either tonight or tomorrow, and the emails will start right after that. Okay, so I just wanted to also let you know that we are staying with our existing provider for what we have right now, but we're starting off a whole new website for lead generation for our agents with a really cool name. It's all about, like a portal with the RE/MAX brand being together. So Chris doesn't know this, but we have TorontoHomesForSale.com. I registered that site back in 1997 at 3 a.m. I remember how far, actually it was even before that, but it was like 3 a.m. in the morning when I found it. And I've been using that for our office, as you know, to generate leads for us. Aside from the RE/MAX website, right? So now we have, so we own about 38 domain names, and one of those domain names are really cool. And I'm just deciding between the two of them. We're gonna launch that. You'll be within that platform, so the leads will flow to you from that as well. And we're gonna use both websites in our company to try to get you more eyeballs. That's our goal. And 100% referral free, right? That's always been the mandate of RE/MAX Ultimate, and always will be, right? So that's what we're working on.
Yeah, just to build on the question earlier, the rollout is in stages. So first we're rolling out to all the franchisees. Once they're onboarded and are able to, facilitate onboarding their agents, then that will start. So it's about a 2-month process, and we should be fully operational if we don't have any hiccups. So there will be some technology, but I would say by mid-December it should be humming really, really well.
Question, Candido?
The webinars are great. They're not as helpful as they should be.
So I am going to share that I know that you're hands-on. I'm a hands-on person too, right? What we have is a couple of agents in our brokers that are KV Core advocates, and part of the plan is to have those people part of the actual training in-house, right? So we're going to get something like that done to try to assist.
Yeah, and we're also forming a team at head office to go to different brokerage companies or different franchises to do in-person sessions. So I'll make sure you're on the list.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. And coming up is our 50th as well. So R4 in Las Vegas is our 50th. Has anyone seen the announcements for it yet?
No.
Well, we do have our musical talent booked now, and it is Maroon 5. So thank you very much for your time and for being able to be here. So that will be available on your resource, on the one on the left. Sorry, I didn't mark it. That's a link to the Dropbox with the PDF for these slides and all the links for your information. And then we do want to host more of these training sessions for you. So right now, this was just an information session. But if you do want any kind of additional live training sessions in addition to your e-platform, please do fill out the feedback form on the right and let us know, and we can definitely arrange some more with Tim.
We'll have this video and this slide deck available to you as soon as possible. Okay, so I do have the PDF version, yes, and we'll make sure that you all get a copy of it like tomorrow, the latest, right? Because we have team here, we have going back to the office probably in the afternoon playing catch up. So I want to manage expectations and be real about it. By tomorrow, you should have the actual slide deck. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
So very quickly, before I start my presentation, I know you're waiting for me. I get it, It's so important to have me on stage, so I just wanted to kind of sneak up a little bit. And no, I'm kidding. Mary always jokes, give him a mic. And we have here Alex Nye. Where's Alex? There he is. He's a leader of our social media department and team. A lot of you have witnessed what he's been doing for our brokers and for each and every single one of you and our listings. So we're really trying to do the best we can to feature you and your listings. Just a couple slides. He just wants to introduce himself, talk about you know, what we're doing here, and then I will talk about the market after that. Alex, welcome.
So yeah, my name's Alex, and I've been with the company now for a few months. Just want to take about 10 minutes of your time quickly and talk about the impact that social media and digital marketing is having on the modern landscape. I'm actually not going to go through slides, and I'm just going to talk to you today, just face to face. I'm always available, which is something that I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. If you ever want to have a one-on-one personal conversation, I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing with your own brands and give you some advice. But the first thing I want to do is just a little bit of a social experiment. So if we can have a little bit of a trust exercise for a second, if I could just get everyone to close their eyes. Okay, so just close your eyes for me. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And if the answer is true for you, just raise your hand, okay? So if you've been on, let's say, Facebook in the last week, can you raise your hand, please? If you've been on Instagram in the last week, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. If your hand's been up, Instagram, keep your hand up. TikTok, LinkedIn, keep your hand up if you've said yes to any of these questions, all right? Twitter, Pinterest, all right? Now, if you've said yes, keep your hand up, open your eyes, and look around. So, I mean, kind of speaks for itself. So we know now that in Canada, 89% of households have at least one daily user on some form of social media. So as marketers, because that's largely what we are as real estate agents, we want to be going where people are, not where we want them to be. So it's interesting because there's a lot of noise out there that, you know, TikTok doesn't work for decision makers, or Instagram is just, it's younger demographics. But the point is that there is some influencer or some decision maker that's using social media every single day. So why wouldn't it make sense that we're giving our brand exposure there? So you may not know this about me, but I do work with a lot of realtors on private contracts managing their social media. And something that I can tell you is that the majority of them can attribute that it gets at least, you know, one deal a year, but that's not the value in it. The value in it is exposure, is brand development, is personalization of your brand. I don't need to, you know, make up any facts here and say that real estates are loved in the public eye perception, because that's not entirely true. And one of the things that's great about social media is a really great way to displace that by kind of catching people when they're not expected to be marketing to, through personalized lifestyle content. So with all of that said, I've established the stats here. I want to let you know that Tim has hired me to give you all free services. Once a business quarter, I will come out to you and I will shoot you marketing material for your own pages, for RE/MAX Ultimate pages, to feature your listings, to feature your businesses. If you're doing some new initiatives, I want to hear about it and I want to show people. So contact me, rusocial@remaxultimate.com. Okay, and I would love to have a conversation with you about how I can help your business. It's an absolutely free service, no expenditure. All I need is some of your time. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions about anything that I said today? rusocial@remaxultimate.com. And I will send everyone out a mass email after this presentation, just kind of going over again the specific services that we offer you and how you can leverage this to grow your businesses. Pretty cool, right? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. So something that Alex did not share with you is that if you go to our Instagram page and you click on the stories, you will actually find the submission forms and the reach out forms to get a hold of Alex, right? So what I highly recommend is, it's also on our myremaxultimate.com. So myremaxultimate.com is a resource page that we have as a hub within our brokerage, and you can find the actual form there as well. But remember, if you have a listing, if it's staged, and he will come and shoot you at that, you know, listing and promote it. We are working on some surprise things with the brokerage to try to get some events going and some kind of more engagement going, but I won't share that with you because it won't be a surprise if I share it with you, right? But just prefer to be surprised. Anyways, thank you so much for both Christopher, actually all of you, Christopher, Chris, and Alex for being here. And obviously for all of you being here today and for people watching right now and later. It's quite an experience to continue on to be actually having an event both recorded, streamed, and in person. And my biggest goal is to have more and more people in person and having less of the streams. I want us to move forward and really get together, because something that happens that I know people who are watching now or later, not from here, are not experienced, is the energy that's in the room and the opportunity to see each and every single one of, each other, people we haven't seen for a little bit of time, and actually, network, talk about the opportunity of doing a deal together, talking about the market, talking about what you're doing in your business. Hey, you know what? How are your families, right? There's something that's to be said about the human interaction and contact, and I want to, thank each and every single one of you for being here. So I have something I want to show you, and this video really made me laugh. It's one of my favorites.
Dad, wake up. Mama. Hi, I'm
Tim.
and our life is expensive. With our mortgage and credit card debt, keeping our son active, styling for our princess here, and daycare for this little surprise, you're probably wondering, how do we do it? We don't. We can't afford our payments. Somebody help us.
So we're here to help. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of reasons why I love that video. Number one, because it says Tim, and I do not have a financial problem. So that's not going to be an issue, right? Even though we have 3 kids also. Secondly, there's a couple of things in that video that I want you to think about. Number one, are there people right now with the rising interest rates actually having a harder time? What segment of these people are having a harder time? The other one, how many people are living a life they should not be living? How many people are spending money on things that they should not be spending on? How many people are comparing themselves to other people, whether it's on social media or whether it's in other places, going out and buying luxury items and living a life that they should not be living, putting themselves in the deeper and deeper hole all the time, right? So what I love about that video is very timely right now, because we're talking about interest rate increases. We're talking about the cost of living, really being there for a lot of households. But we're also talking about a lot of people who are actually not planning properly through this time. I'm going to talk about certain things, the consumer confidence. I want to talk about empowering you to have a clear vision and a mission to thrive in today's market. And I want to talk about being the resource to your clients, something that we have not been for the last 8 to 10 years. We've only been a resource at the most critical times, but we have not been a resource. And my message today is that stop being an agent. It's going to be stop being a realtor. I want you to be you. This is how we're going to get through this together. But before we talk about that, we were at an event last week that many of you missed. We had about 2 tables at Thriving in a Changing Market. And for those of you that were in this room, put your hand up that were at the event. Share your experience about that. Just tell me, clap. Tell me how great was it. It was fantastic, right? So we had 2 tables of people. It was $99 because that was the fee to get all these speakers that are international speakers to that room. What RE/MAX Ultimate did, that did not advertise to the other brokers in any way, because I would have been shot, is we gave you a $50 credit if you actually registered and showed up and enjoyed the event. It was unbelievable, the energy in that room. So 9 brokers of RE/MAX came together to do this event. We are going to do more of them. It has been recorded, not to its full extent. But please take the opportunity to come to the next one we're going to do. It will be in the spring that we're planning on something as well. Phil Jones and Kitty Lance were just out of this world. Phil Jones got a standing ovation. I actually recommend you bring him to an actual event. I'm telling you straight up, Phil Jones had 300 people standing and up, like just stand up, like just amazing of what the energy had. But I'm going to share a couple of things that he shared with us. And if you weren't there, you didn't see it. He talked about the word fear. And all those people who actually look at the word fear, there's an acronym for it. And the acronym is false evidence appearing real. Right? That's how people look at fear. But what Phil actually said was, when you have the word fear, most people, consumers and agents, frig everything and run. I didn't want to swear on stage, okay? But that's really what's really going on. And since we're talking about the economy and we're talking about what's happening right now in people's households, are there people in your database who feel this way? There are. They need a guiding light. They need to have a voice of reason and perspective. Do you guys remember 2020 when the pandemic hit and we were on a Zoom call every single 3 days together? Our biggest goal was what? To be together, to walk, to be a beacon of light, right? To be there for people, to listen, to understand what they're going through. And that's the same thing right now. Are there agents who have this feeling right now? It's okay to admit privately that you feel a little bit like this too, right? It's natural. If you haven't had any of your contacts connecting with you, if you haven't had any people trying to work with you, people putting their whole plans on pause, you will feel this way too. It's natural, right? Because the reality is that we have the highest inflation since 1970, the year I was born, right? That's the last time we had inflation at this rate. And even though it's on a 4-month low at 7%, we're still looking at 10, 11% increases in the cost of living. Mostly as it's been reported by both Urban Nation and Trev and everybody else who wants to go on stage and be an economist, you know, gas prices, right? I'm not here to be an economist. I'm here to give you some facts. I'm going to give you some understanding to make sense of everything from a broker's perspective, a broker who oversees over 3,800 transactions a year, that in the last 3 to 4 years has experienced 15% of all our sales outside of our trading area. How crazy is that? 15% of all of our sales are outside our trading area. You are driving to Windsor, Sarnia. You're driving to Fort Erie. You're driving to Niagara Falls. You're going to Bowmanville. You're going to places that you've never thought you'd go before, where agents are. I want to believe because your clients do not want to work with the area realtor and not because you want the deal, right? But the truth is, it's happening. 15% of our office in downtown Toronto is doing sales 2 and 3 hours away. So the consensus is that rates will rise to 4%. And the inflation rate will not drop to 3%, this target rate, till the end of 2023. So I was talking to Christopher before we started, and he said, you know, what's your feeling on the market? I'm going to jump ahead and come back again. My feeling in the market is that we're going to experience what we experienced in 2018. It's not going to be a 3-month recovery. It's going to be a year. It's going to get better as we go along, but it's going to take a little bit longer time. That is my sincere, heartfelt, not selling you shit at all, right? I'm just telling that if you've been in the market in 2017 and 18, you're going to experience that same time. But what I'm also saying to you is this: if you have buyers right now, that is also their window. That is their window. And you can't be, again, what I said at the beginning, don't be a realtor today. Don't be an agent. I'm just arming you with information, but I don't want you to be an agent. I want you to think about what I'm going to say. So rates are close to the same levels of 2006, which is a 16-year high. So what's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year, or as we're gradually going through this, we're going to see less consumer spending, more people not spending money on big ticket items. Going back to the video, start living within your means. So I drive a car, my car is coming due. True story. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going through. Mary and I sit at the kitchen table saying, I love my car. My car's due. Rates right now for a brand new car to lease are 6.99%. Higher than they've ever been for me. My buyback on my car is $47,000. Thank you, Angelo, for helping me out and telling me that my car is actually worth $68,000. So what I'm doing is I'm buying my car. And I'm going to drive my car for 1 or 2 more years. Because my car is only 2.5 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, why would I spend money on something I don't have to? Not in the fact that we have 3 children and 2 of them are in university and I don't need a bigger car. And I'm kind of stuck in between and I can't decide. I'm sharing with you all the factors. But financially, if I'm thinking about it, It's a proven scientific fact that if one person has a thought about something, there's 16 more people who have the same kind of thought. Scientific fact. This is not made up, right? So if you're looking at levels, since 2006, that means that, as we were discussed earlier, that most people haven't gone through what they've gone through. But why do I believe that there's going to be a different kind of rebound? Oops. Why do I believe there's going to be a different kind of rebound? Is because if we had a challenging time for the first time in 8 years, I'd be worried. But the fact that we had a full lockdown and 4 months later the market roared out, and we had another lockdown and 4 months later the market roared out, another lockdown and it roared out. Don't you think purchasers and investors are feeling a little bit different about this one? Don't you think they're going to adjust a lot quicker? They will. They don't believe that the end of the world is coming. It's not. But they don't feel that way. But if there was an actual crisis without a reopening, the mindset of the consumer would be different. So I want you to take things in perspective. Good news, 70% of mortgages advanced over the last 5 years were fixed at an average rate of 2.97. Between July 21 and April 22, that's more than 50% of mortgages taken were variable rate, but majority have fixed payments. There is a concern about trigger rates. We're going to get to those trigger rates. They're going to happen. But it's not a tremendous large segment of the marketplace. It's not like you're looking at 129,000 sales and 129,000 people have a trigger rate. Let's be real about things. Let's take things into perspective, right? There are people who are going to hurt. There are people who have their mortgages coming due from 2 and 3 years ago, 3 times the interest rate that they've ever seen. Good news, they bought at this price, and it's still worth this from 4 years ago. Bad news, there are people who put 20% down on a house, have a very low interest rate, the value has adjusted downward because the interest rate's gone up, and now they're swimming around 100% mortgage under value. That's bad news. Again, but not a very big segment. You're looking at purchasers of properties 5 years ago, I talked about that, and that's my concern. There are the concern of the people who didn't go to the big 5 banks, who now have to re-qualify to get a mortgage. And there are people in the marketplace, again, I'll give you the real Band-Aid pull information, right? There are people in the marketplace who their lender will not offer them a renewal. Real stuff happening there, right? But are we worried about those people and where will real estate go? Courtesy of Urban Nation, I have these 2 slides looking at the unemployment rate of where it is compared to where things have been. And you're looking at the permanent residents of the 12-month total of everything opening up and people coming in. 75% of all the people who are coming into Canada, are choosing the big centers, right? That's what's really going on as well. And 75% of those want to rent. And that's another problem because there aren't any rentals right now to actually offer people. But how many of you have heard the radio ads, come to Alberta? Hey, I think that's infringing. They're recruiting us, Chris. They got to stop recruiting our people in Ontario. I think we should build the big fence around Ontario and say you can't go. But what they're saying is come, have a job, live downtown. The food here is fantastic. Hospitality is amazing. Hey, you can buy a house for $300,000.
Downtown's dead.
I'm just saying with the ads, I'm just talking to you about, I've been to Calgary, right? I know, but I'm just giving you the example of what the ads are there, right? They're trying to get immigrations of, people need employees, people need tradespeople, people need to fill their workflow here. And naturally the big centers are Vancouver and Toronto, right? And to some extent Montreal then it falls off to Calgary, and then it really falls off to Edmonton. And I don't even know if people know where Winnipeg is, no disrespect, right? So, I mean, that's what's really happening, right? So what we've seen here, though, is also that I've already covered this, 15% of all sales were outside our traditional area. A lot of interprovincial moving is happening. Hence why we see a lot of values going up in the Stratfords, the Londons, the Cambridges, and everywhere else, right? Because you're driving there and people are seeing the value. Demand of real estate will still remain high because of immigration. Supply will still be a huge problem. We are, housing starts are at an all-time low, and the population in the first 10 years I have on the graph there was 849. The next 10 years is 1.24. So you're looking at a tremendous rise in immigration to Canada. A lot of people picking the bigger centers. These are the real things going on. But here's some facts that'll make you feel good now. Let's go to the feel good side. Even though we haven't had these, present rates since 06, we are in a lag environment. So what I'm saying is buyers in August were able to use their interest rate holds for May. September, they were using, that rate, October, and this rate. And this is why we're seeing people still trying to get into the market because they have rate holds, right? And those rate holds, though, are expiring and running out of time. And this is where we're going to see a little bit of a difference, right? This is why we saw August kind of pop up the way we did. And I'm watching our financial people here kind of nodding with me. They kind of agree of what's happening here, right? Resale inventory, here's to the previous side, is a 25% below 20-year average. And I'm going to tell you as your broker of record, we're going to see a continued slight decline on the average price because interest rates are going to rise again. So just to keep it simple, folks, 1.6, 20% down, 2% interest rate, there's a payment. 1.2, 20% down, 4% interest rate is the same payment, give or take. So if rates go up again, which they will, you use the same exact example. Prices are not dropping. Prices are adjusting to the interest rate environment. So what we really need to do to the buyers in our database, or people you're working with, to say is this: do you want to buy a 1.6 with interest rates you're never going to see again in your lifetime and wait 10 to 12 years before you see appreciation of value? Or do you want to buy a 1.2 at higher than expected interest rates that are discussed about coming back down and you benefiting from the appreciation of value? But what I'm trying to say here is that there needs to be education. Education is the actual foundation of everything that we're discussing here. Let's talk about where the demand is coming from and where we'll be in the next 3 to 6 months. Condo prices have proven more stable, and 30% of all MLS sales are condos. 30% of all MLS sales are actually condos. What does that tell you? Two things. It could be people moving down. It could be investors. It's 3 things, maybe 4. Or it could be people looking at the most affordable segment of the actual real estate market. That is actually tightening up in the lower end. Like, it's really starting to tighten up. I feel very blessed to have a gentleman by the name of Jamie Johnson in my life. He's not just a broker in the same market as us, but he's also a friend. Like, we lunch every couple of weeks. He gives me granular, detailed, on-the-street information that nobody can provide. I don't care which economist you think you are. When you're sitting down with them, no different when I'm with the GTA home team when it comes to pre-construction. I want to thank you guys too. Like, you give me stuff that I would not know about housing starts, delays in housing starts, and what's going on. I don't see that. What I analyze every single day is how many appointments come in, how many phone calls come in. I do see who's answering the phone more than others, not from an agent perspective, but from a staff perspective. I get a trade report every day at 5 o'clock. I get a weekly report every day, a weekly report on Fridays of all the transactions that happened. I see where they happened, how they happened, what kind of properties they are. I analyze all this stuff, right? So if you ever have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Again, that's why I said that sales are shifting down to the lower end. There's a 20% increase in new condo starts in 22, but yet there's 10,000 that are going to be delayed until 2023. So what is that going to do to the supply chain going forward? Right? If you have 10,000 starts that were supposed to happen now, not happening, and they're waiting until spring, what's that going to do? The builders are saying, I'm not launching. I'm going to wait until the market stabilizes. I'm going to wait until the market actually has an opportunity for me to make money. You know, at this point right now, what I feel bad about the builders, that most consumers do not feel bad for them at all. I feel bad for the builders because 50% is of the end is profit, 50% is City of Toronto charges. Builders in the City of Toronto are 50-50 partners right now. And who's paying for it? Our clients. The cost per square foot is high because of these development charges, right? That's where the problem lies, right? So, but builders are now waiting until the spring of 2023, and you can't blame them. But what I do know is two things. Number there, 416 proper is always more insulated than 905. But more importantly, that if you have people who want to buy pre-construction or buy a condo, now is the chance to actually have them go out and see these properties. You can pick which property you want. You can get more of more things thrown in. Am I right? So there are I think about 11,000 units in inventory right now in pre-construction. And your client can go in and pick and negotiate, in essence, with incentive on what they get. Compared to 6 months ago, they couldn't do any of that. So again, that window of opportunity is right there. Why will we not see a downturn? Is because investors are not going to sell their properties. They've seen a 20% increase in rents. Why would you sell your property if you got a 20% increase in your rent? And there's no sign of it slowing down. So these are things that you have to take into account. And we got students, international students that have come in. Our daughters are both at University of Toronto. It's full, floodgates are open. People are, bidding on condos downtown, trying to find a place to stay. It is a zoo. It's like when we go pick them up once in a while, because, mom and dad are the best people in the world when they need a pickup, we're literally looking around that we don't hit a kid, right? It's insane of how busy it is when you go there, and they all need units, right? And what we're not talking about is how many employers are asking for their employees to come back to work. And the ones who moved out, who do not want to move back in, are trying to rent something together with other people to share, if they can too, right? We've actually seen that in some of our leases. So it's really interesting. And the biggest problem is purpose-built rentals at our 20-year low. People they stopped building purpose-built rentals again. We're at a 20-year low. So this rental problem is not going away. As a matter of fact, I think we should applaud the investors who are buying pre-con condos and putting them into the rental market, and stop thinking of it as big, bad investors. It's quite the opposite. So now we know the stats, and what do we need to know? What do we need to do now moving forward? And first things first, I want to say, what can fish teach us? Can a fish teach us anything? Not drinking. I want to share with you something that amazed me when I heard this podcast once about a fish. I did not make this up. Where do fish live? In the ocean, right? They're actually born and raised in the ocean. And when we catch them, some of them are this big and some of them are this big, right? Big fish. So they actually live in the ocean, and the ocean has what in it? Salt. And yet when you catch a fish and you cook it, you have to add salt. I want you to think about that. A fish lives in an environment all its life until it's caught or dies, and salt does not penetrate its skin. So my message to you is try to be like a fish and do not let negative news actually penetrate your skin, your mind. You need to actually look at the opportunity lies within these times and see that, if you become victim to down type of news, you'll start believing in it. There's always opportunity. I think I've demonstrated to you so far, both sides, that there is so much opportunity right now for everybody to go through. And the number one thing that I said was that we're going to recover a lot quicker than any other time because we've done this now 4 or 5 times in 2.5 years. So that's what I believe is going to happen. And what I also want to say with you is you need to be the stick that stirs your database drink. Now, how many people have ever had a drink or cooked at home? Some spices don't go together too good, do they? You actually add a spice and say, what the hell was I thinking? Or you try to mix a couple of things together and you're like, oh my God, that tastes horrible, right? Things that don't go together is calling your client, and really your purpose is to find out if they want to buy or sell. That's a bad mix. Either you're calling your client to find out what's going on in their life and how you can be a resource to them, or they can say, oh my God, Tim is calling. He just wants me to sell or buy a house. And that's the biggest mistake that I think we make. How are we staying connected? What systems are we using to keep in touch? Do you call your clients and find out if they need a market update or a real estate checkup, contractors, advice, any other way that you can really help them, right? And as I said before, some things don't mix. Be that resource. I want to share with you a blast from the past. That's my newsletter. Look at how young I was. So why am I sharing this with you is because I gave a lot of thought to where we're going to be in the next 3 to 6 months and how we can really position ourselves in a very different way. And you need to ask yourself, how are you connecting to your sphere of influence? And for them to be raving fans, you have to be raving fans too. They can't be just raving fans one way. You have to start the reciprocity cycle. How many people have gone to dinner at a family, like at a friend's house, for example, and on the way home said, what a great time we had? Yes? What did you say to your partner, spouse, as you're driving home? We have to have them over next. Am I wrong? So you can't just create raving fans. You have to be a raving fan. And that's a very, very important, mixology lesson that we're always missing in our business. We have this, what's in it for me attitude. I keep on saying, stop asking for referrals. You don't need to ask for referrals. If you look at my database there, what I used to do is advertise my clients in the newsletter. I used to advertise them all the time because they weren't just clients, they were friends. But if you're advertising them, how are they going to feel about you? Are they going to advertise you? Absolutely. Right? So that's why I wanted to share that with you. And then success comes by paying attention to the details, and we can help. On that screen right there, I'm sharing with you hundreds and hundreds of touch point letters that I have for you to use at any time. Tell me a letter that you want to use. I got that letter for you. But this is the way I actually ran my business. I used to have an automated system, not to be cold, to keep me on track. So I don't have to worry about the little things, right? I would still touch people, but you have to have them. My favorite letter of all, though, was adding some humor. How many people have heard of the realtor withdrawal letter? Yes, I gave it to one person before. You know what that is? So the realtor withdrawal letter is a letter that I used to send my clients after they bought a house. And it went something like this. Hi, Lisa. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your new home. It's been such an honor to be part of your journey and process. And I know you'll have many years of happiness there. And always remember, if you need anything at all for repairs or tips and tricks, whatever, I'm always here for you. But right now, I want to share something with you that you probably haven't thought of or you may be actually feeling. It's called the realtor withdrawal syndrome. Just about now, you're wondering, oh my God, I'm not going to be receiving any prospect matches. I'm not going to be talking to you every single day and sending you the information. But don't worry, I'm still just a phone call away. And I promise that I'll be around Christmas, Easter, New Year's, and just to check in with you and see how you're doing and say happy birthday. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you know how many people would actually call me and say, oh my God, that was the best letter in the world. It made me laugh. I have one person who called me and said, you are my pusher. You take me off prospect match, I'm going to come down and hunt you down. You know what I mean? Like, don't take me off. And I would say, you know what? I'm really sorry, but I can't keep you on it. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a checkup every 3 months. And I'll call you after that to follow up. Right? So add some humor to your actual database. Be you. Right? It's very, very important. If you want to copy the letter, just ask me for it. Make it your own words. And after they buy a property, you know, like, look, if you look back, if you look at my, buy too low, 5% down document, congratulation letters, commission responses, I have marketing guarantees, like seller action plans, buyer action plans, accepted offer offer firm, miracle home donation. Like, you name the letter that you want, I'll give you the blueprint of it, just at least the blueprint of it, and then you can add it to your database. But now the fact that you have KV Core and you have a built-in, CRM, why wouldn't you add these? Can I give you a little tip of one of our agents, what he's doing? He's not doing these letters anymore, but he is. But he's actually sending a video for each topic. So imagine this. Hey, Lena, you just bought the house. Congratulations. Probably right now you're asking what you need to do next. Here you go. I have the lawyer information in my email below. Here's 3 names. Call one of them. Here to help. Have a great day. Same as a letter, but using BombBomb to actually communicate. So there's a way that you use technology that could differentiate you from everybody else, but still be in contact, right? Anyways, I wanted to share that with you. Really, really important. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole training class, but I've done this before, and some of you have seen it through Richard Robbins. I do believe that the easiest way to approach people at any meeting or appointment is through the colors scheme. And that is, I had to share this with you because I've been having a lot of conversations about what to say on the phone and how to approach people at listing presentations or buyer presentations. So every single person has a color in their personality: yellow, green, blue, orange. I want to share with you what they are really quickly for those that don't know. Yellow is an administrator mindset in the world and society. Green are engineers and doctors, accountants. Blues are social workers, nurses, teachers. And orange is everybody in this room. A salesperson, right? People who just want to surf, meet you at the pub. Hey, you want to go to Montreal? When? Right? Kind of attitude, right? Want to go now? Kind of attitude. But we all have this. All of us have all of these, but we have prominent ones. So how do you find out which color scheme or which personality you have in your appointment really quickly? I want to share this with you. These are the questions that I've always asked. Was this professionally done, or did you do it yourself? So you're in a house and you ask, was this professionally done, or you do it yourself? Can I share a funny story about this? So 270 Timberbank, Birch Mountain Finch in Scarborough, back in the mid-90s, a gentleman by the name of Colin Byrne, who works at Remax Hallmark up in Willowdale. Back then, before that, he used to work at Remax Elite, and we used to be really close friends side by side. We still talk from time to time. He's a great guy. Anyways, he went to door knocking, and he saw Mrs. Smith. He walked into the house, and as he's walking into the house, he said, "Oh my God, this room is fuchsia. We have to paint it." And the lady said, "My husband painted it, but he passed away." And he knew he didn't have a chance of getting that listing. So he called me and he says, Tim, what are you doing? I said, what's up, Colin? He said, are you free? I go, what's up? And he goes, could you knock on 270 Timberbank, unit number 51, Mrs. Brown Smith, I don't remember her name. This is what I did. So I said, okay, I'll try that. So I started about 8 doors before and I knock, nobody's answering. Mrs. Brown answers. I said, hi, Mrs. Brown, my name is Tim from RE/MAX, just in the neighborhood doing market evaluations, wondering if you'd be interested. I just had a RE/MAX agent. Oh, you know, we're all different. Do you mind if I take a look at your house? No, not at all. Come in. I walk in, I see the fuchsia room. What did I say? Was this professionally done or did you do it yourself? I got the listing, sold it, sent Colin 25%. Just sharing the true story, right? So I learned that one. But here's how you actually get people to talk to you. What do you do for a living? What are your hobbies? Number one, out of curiosity, if you were to do anything else, what would that be? So you meet a lawyer in a, you know, teacher's body, right? You meet a engineer in a surfer's body. Like, you see where I'm coming from with this? So all of a sudden you see how people are, oh man, you know what? I'd be an artist. I'd be an actor. I'd be a social worker. I'd be giving back. They're not really that, their strength is not there. So now what do? You talk to them, it's not manipulation, the way they're going to actually understand the conversation. Do you believe, as your broker of record, that I talk to each and every single one of you the same way? Do I not know that some of you are super analytical? Some of you are super huggy, squeezy. Some of you, I have to actually sit there and say, do you have a minute? I got 45, yes. In my head, by the way, not outside, in my head. Some of you, do I know that you don't really want to talk to me at all? Give me the damn answer. Get me out of here now. You're nice, I get it, but yeah, I don't care right now. No, I don't want to hear about you, no. Just give me the answer, right? It happens all the time. But I talk to you the way you're going to absorb the information. But yet when we go to appointments or we go to our database, we go in a self-serving way. We go in a way that it's about us, not about, so who likes baseball? You go to the plate, you have a choice. You either hit a home run and strike out every time trying, or you just try to get the first, right? And we get the first, a little bit of luck, you could steal second, somebody bunt, sacrifices something, you get the second. An error happens somewhere else, you get the third or get home. Like, it's a process. Yes, there are chances that we're all gonna hit home runs in our business. But the majority of the time, life is full of bunts and singles and doubles. It's not home runs. How many agents have chased the biggest deal of their life for 20 years? I'm not looking at anybody right now. Right? Like, you're chasing that big mega train deal, but it's always a big deal that you're chasing all the time. And how much money are you making? Donuts. I'm not doing a lease. Are you kidding me? Sorry, guys. When I got my license, leases were $500 a month. Now they're $4,000. Guess what my average lease was when I got my license? $500 a month. Now they're $4,000. Guess what my average commission was when I first got my license? $4,000. My average commission when I started the business was $4,000 per transaction. And now we won't do a lease, which is the birthway to buying a property. Because if you go back to my slide, there's an actual letter campaign I have in here that says, you've rented, do you want to buy? You've rented, do you want to buy? You rented, do you want to buy? Go ahead. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not knocking that you don't want to do leases. It's okay. I'm just talking the facts that leases are very, we have an agent in our office who started with leases that was doing 120 leases a year. Remember that? 120 leases a year. So do you think that this person ran around all the time, or was it very systematic? It's like, here's the way it works. Credit check, 3 places, pick one, offers pre-typed, away you go. Like it was all systematic. It was not like showing all the time. So just to recap now, because I promised I'm 11:45 and I'm right on time. Love this. Business recap and office housekeeping. I want to share some really important industry things right now to protect you. We are in very litigious times right now. Remember to follow up with your conversation in writing. Please, 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 please. You all know when you get off the phone that something doesn't feel right, that you need to somehow have something followed up. Calling back is not following up to protect you, right? What you need to do is follow up with a conversation in writing. Hey, Gary, thanks for the time on the phone. Just to reiterate what we discussed, da, 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 da. Have a great day. Paper trail. Okay? Good agreements make fantastic friends. Use a listing and or BRA schedule to reduce your agreement in writing. If you've promised something, add it to the Schedule A of either the BRA or the listing agreement. Please do not do it any other way and have them initial it. In failed condition transactions, more sellers are requesting proof of a home inspection. It's happening a lot, but don't give it. There's no obligation to give it. If you don't give it, no mutual release. That's not an answer. Call me. I'll fix that for you, right? But don't use conditions to get out of something completely different than what your condition's about. Make sense what I mean by that? Like you can't, I changed my mind. They're not approved for financing. Like be careful, there is exposure there, right? So don't assume that you can use a condition on inspection to use it as changing your mind. If it does slip out of your mouth in writing or text or somewhere and somebody hears this, they will come back after you as misrepresentation. You're exposed, right? So you don't want to do that. If tenanted, don't guarantee vacant possession. What I say earlier, rates of rents have increased by 20%. Tenants know they can't find a place for the same cost of where they were living. They're not moving out. We're seeing a lot of tenants refusing to move out. They're extorting landlords right now. Holly? A buyer? Unfortunately, yeah, I know. So legally speaking, the forms that are being used for your own use are legitimate. They're legal. They do have to move out. So a lot of people believe that you do a credit check, their credit score is super high, and that's good enough to receive a monthly rent every single month. And you and I both know, doesn't matter what your credit score is, if I choose not to pay you, I'm not going to pay you. Same thing with a mortgage, right? You can have a great credit score and have, 40% down payment, but if somebody does not want to pay or something happens, they don't pay, right? So same thing with agreements. It doesn't mean they're going to move out. There is no way to protect them. Zero. Sorry, I don't want to give you some context, but to keep it simple, zero. See what she just did? She goes, stop giving me the fluff answer. Just tell me the answer.
Because during COVID, I prepared buyers for that, and there was coaching that thought it was 5, 6, 8 months, but my buyer was moving in.
Nothing's changed.
The landlord, and I kept saying, buy them out.
Nothing, but they're being extorted right now. Right now, we've seen crazy amounts of that. We've seen 8,000, 20,000, 15,000. We've seen some pretty, unfortunate circumstances. And it's not one-off. I mean, I'm seeing it more than my hand.
So how do you recommend preparing a buyer and saying, I know you love this place, but don't buy it?
Well, I wouldn't say don't buy it. I would explain to them the lay of the landscape of what's happening right now and why it's happening. I would reduce it to writing to explain it to them. And I would say, do not give notice to your landlord to move out until, So it really, I mean, the only thing I've seen is negotiating some form of financial payment from the seller's perspective to the tenant to have them move out.
Right.
There's nothing else that I've seen.
So should we be preempting that in the that if the tenant agrees not to vacate the premises, the
So you're asking for a conditional offer until closing, which is a problem.
That the seller, that if the seller can't provide vacant possession, that they agree to pay
You could put that in the offer, yes. Yeah.
that worth trying.
It is worth trying. 1 second, I got Angelo, then I got Alma. Go ahead.
Not even them moving out, that they can't even book unless the buyer literally moves it. Can't even kick them out.
And that's, I'm talking about.
That's exactly, other than the fact that if they even your thing, they don't also get hold back. The lawyer will make hold back before they actually will, and you associate costs, and then moving out, or just.
I need to jump in here. I need to jump in really quick. I want to share something. Holdbacks are not illegal. Holdbacks could be construed at times of not being prepared to close. So you have to be careful of exposure. So what you'd have to do is have it in the clause as so I always say when I retire, people ask me what I did for a living. I was a hell of a good real estate lawyer, right? So you have to close a deal and then sue the seller after for that holdback amount. So the buyer you still have to show up on closing day. My recommendation to you is you still show up on closing day, ready to close at the full amount, right? You have a clause in there. You're saying, I'm closing in protest. I'm ready to close. And then you start the legal process after for that difference. Is it in the offer? Okay, so in this case, sorry, I want to take this back. I just want to, keep this moving forward. So there's a detailed clause that Angelo in this case did. He put an actual amount every single month going forward. 1 second.
One thing that's missing that I don't think anybody's picking up on is that there's a scenario I'm talking about, and my buyer is also a seller. So if she sells what she purchases, that's a trickle down to her buyer.
Yes, no, I got that, and you're absolutely correct. Yeah, so you're absolutely correct, and this is the situation where if there's any type of sniff test that this is a kind of tenant that's not moving out, then you probably don't want to go there.
Just for the record, she has not purchased.
Yep, no, I get you. I understand.
Been steering her that direction. Stay away from that. However, if she falls in love with property that's tenanted, this is what I did.
Yes.
So this is why.
And in writing, please.
Open to.
Yeah.
Whatever impacts the relationship.
Yeah. Elma, then Jonathan, and then we'll move on. Not long enough, but yeah, good point. Yeah. Jonathan? Oh, that's a great point. So what Jonathan said is be careful there's not a rate hold, and all of a sudden they find themselves outside that rate hold, right? I just want to share a couple more things which are really important. And that is beware. I say be aware. If staging is part of your services, make sure that it's also in a Schedule A, and make sure that you're actually having the seller pay for it and you're reimbursing them. We are seeing a lot of sellers terminating listings or not going forward to sell their property. And guess who just paid for all the staging? The agent. This is not love it or list it. A seller can't say love it and they're going to stay there. You know what I mean? Like, you have to make sure that you're protected, right? Finally, save the date. Next meeting is November the 1st. We have a special guest talking about impressions and gifts. It's very timely considering that it's Christmas and the holidays are right after that. And don't forget that December the 1st, it just didn't fit there, is our holiday party right here. First Thursday of every single December is where we do the holiday event. Can't believe it's almost that time. You were talking about it. I feel like a retail place. Anyways, I want all of you are going to get one of these as well. I just want to share what this is. This is called the Andex Report, and we've prepared these every several years for our team. And the Andex Report shows every single financial event that happened in North America, right? So whether it's the oil embargo, whether it's the missile crisis, whether there's a war, every US president, every prime minister is on this. It shows a timeline. Why do we prepare this for you right now? Is very simple. It's because we want you to demonstrate to your clients of historically what things do, right? So this is not what you need to actually have to say by words and try to prove to them. The proof is right here in the print, right? So Diana each office will have these, and all you have to do is ask reception, and you'll have your own Andex report, okay? With that, I want to thank you very much for being here today. We have lunch. It's a beautiful buffet lunch that's we're always taken care of by Parkview Manor, and I wish you guys happy selling, and if you need anything at all, we're here to have your back always.